Here's the story out of Wisconsin from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Dane County Circuit Judge Marianne Sumi issued a temporary restraining order today barring the publication of this new law that would sharply curtail collective bargaining for public employees. Sumi's order will prevent the Secretary of State, Doug LaFollette, from publishing the law until she can rule on the merits of the case. Ismail Ozani is seeking to block the law because he says the legislative committee violated the state's open meetings law. Sumi and Ozan will likely, or said Ozan was likely to succeed on the merits. The judge said that the challenge likely to succeed on the merits. Seems to me that public policy behind effective enforcement of the open meeting law is so strong that it does outweigh the interest, at least at this time, which may exist in favor of sustaining the validity of the law, said the judge. The judge's finding, at least for now, is a setback to Governor Walker and a victory for the opponents who've spent weeks in the Capitol to protest the bill. Remember, we had the audio yesterday, these teachers leading students in an anti-Walker chant. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Scott Walker's got to go. Can we get rid of the myth once and for all that school teachers anymore are these just your average, ordinary, as Obama wants to say, next-door neighbors who are just doing everything they can to further the educational experience of your children? That's not who they are. They are left-wing activists, active members of unions who are oriented first by a political agenda, second by their own well-being, and your kids come last. Can we just get that out in the open? And it's been apparent since this whole thing started. Now taking these little students and turning them into pawns to advance the teacher and the union agenda. And it's all about, I know I'm going to get in trouble for this, but it's all about people who know full well that they're getting a deal their states can't afford. Being paid for by people who aren't earning half as much as what they are paying these public sector employees. So what we saw the protests in this state, we've seen them in Greece. We're going to see it in Ohio and Indiana. And it's a moment of truth. It's a moment of truth in defining what kind of country we're going to be going forward. Are we finally going to put the foot down and say there's going to have to be some reason and sensible action, behavior here on how public sector employees are paid? Or is the country going to exist? Are the taxpayers of this country going to have as their first responsibility the lifestyle support of public sector union members? Is that the primary reason for the existence of taxpayers? Could these people who are making what they're making as a result of state and federal taxes, could they earn that money in the private sector on their own? Do they have the skills? Do they have the talent? Could they? Do they have the ability to even do what they're doing now reasonably well? You see them leading these the students in these protests. Let's throw out the window here this Norman Rockwell version of Miss Carter in the second grade with the little students bringing in the apple.
Hi, Miss Carter. Hi, Miss Carter. I'm ready for my math test today.
It's not what's going on. It's the whole educational system's been co-opted by people who have found an easy way to a good living. And they realize it, and they don't want to give it up without a fight. It's always about the money, particularly from people on the left who claim they're motivated by everything but money. They're motivated by good intentions, by their big hearts. They're inspired and motivated by their desire for good works. It's always about the money, and as easy a money as they can get. Yeah, let's form a nonprofit. Let's form a little charity here. We'll start asking people to donate to our cause, and we'll siphon some of it off and call it salary, and that'll be our living. And we'll convince people we're oriented toward good works and a good cause. I would like, I know this is probably not possible, I would like somehow to have a calculation on how many people in this country actually work for a living rather than siphon for a living. I have a sneaking suspicion that the number of people actually working for a living is decreasing, and the number of people who siphon for a living is rising, because it's considered easy money. And along the way, you automatically get to call yourself an expert. Yeah, all you got to do is start a foundation. All you got to do is start a 501c3 or whatever. Start asking for donations for the purpose of your cause. You only have to give away 10% every year of what you donate. The rest you can take, salaries, expenses, or what have you. You know how some of the charities, you've seen the numbers on the net that actually ends up going to the so-called cause. Which is why, by the way, all the charities we associate with on this program are basically pass-throughs. 95, 100%. Dollars go to where you intend the donation to go. So a county judge can tell the Wisconsin legislature how to do their business. Is that right? This is how democracy works? A county judge in Wisconsin can tell the Wisconsin legislature how to do its job. The Milwaukee Urinal Sentinel article points out that the complaint is the Senate violated its rules. The Wisconsin Senate can do whatever the hell it wants to do. Look at the U.S. Congress. They change their rules all the time. What is this open meetings law violation? And you get this liberal judge saying, yep, I think there's a problem. I think I might have to vacate the law. Fine, either ignore it, or now that the Democrats in the Senate are back in town, let's just revote it. Why not just do that? Why not just revote it? The Democrats are back, or will they flee again? Try to create the same set of circumstances. I don't know, folks, this stuff, it's bothered me for the longest time. This whole notion of living off of others under the guise that you're helping them. Under the doubly offensive guise that they couldn't get along without you if you weren't paying them to help you. Meanwhile, everybody is aware that their state and local taxes, not to mention federal, are going through the roof, property taxes and what have you. And look what happens. It's never enough, is it? The teachers will walk off the job, and then they'll use the kids as pawns, the students as pawns. So everybody's being recalled in Wisconsin. We've got a recall effort going against the governor and some Republicans. We have they're very quiet proceedings going on, but there's an effort here on the part of Wisconsinites or Wisconsins to recall these Democrats who fled. Let's recall this judge. If that's how we're going to do it, let's just recall this activist judge, this county judge telling the Wisconsin legislature how to do its business.